I got the call about 5:40 Thursday evening. I'd just been out of town, just got back. And they said a tornado, a storm, they didn't know at that time, the storm had hit the Wooster Campus. I jumped in my car and headed up there. Where's Pat? She went with me. And to see that devastation that evening was tremendous. The next morning, we got up, we looked around. It's even more than you would expect. Now, some of you know the Wooster Campus, okay? I want to take you a little trip, the path of the tornado and what it did. Okay, first slide, guys. If you know the Wooster Campus, you know the entrance to the Wooster Campus, there along Madison Avenue. The tornado touched down just a short distance before that. And it came in, and the first building that it hit was the Research Services building, the administration building. You can see the boarded up areas there. Remember that building? It used to have all these nice, beautiful trees around both sides of that administration building. Folks, they're gone. They're gone. And in this parking lot were several cars. There's two cars. That's Bill Ravlin and Dave Benfield's cars backing up together. Underneath this pile of trees, there's two other cars. Ken Scape, our operations manager, his cars underneath that. And they've already, this was about, I don't know when Ken, you took these pictures, I don't know when this was about taken, but probably on Friday morning, they'd already got the boards, windows knocked out, boarded out. Go to the next slide. You can see that, that's a little entryway inside on the second floor of the administration building. Furniture scattered everywhere, there was pictures on the walls, it was just scattered glass everywhere. But notice what tornadoes do. See that plant right there on that table? Can you see that? Untouched. Untouched. And one of our employees, Mauricio, had to hold his door shut to keep the wind from sucking it open. And he could hear the glass hit the door. Just right across the hall from where that plant is seated. And they categorized it as an F2 tornado. F2 had, with 130 mile an hour wind. If it had been a 135 mile an hour wind, it had been an F3. So it was a pretty strong wind at that time. Next slide. This is inside Dave Benfield's office. If Dave has been there, I'm not sure Dave would be with us today. It just literally destroyed his office. Glass was everywhere. Ceiling was down. Fortunately, he wasn't there. He was down in Jackson at a field day. And but when he got back, he saw his office. First thing he looked for, guess what he looked for the first time? Now, this was Friday morning. He looked for his football tickets. He found them. He found them in there. Okay, made him very happy. He stuck them in his pocket and said, "I got my football tickets." So now that is kind of at this. If you watch tornadoes, they go natural paths or southwest to northeast, so you can track it through the campus. Interesting enough, ATI is on the southeast part of that campus, and Extension's on the northwest part of that campus, and they were untouched. Okay, so it just took a track diagonally across the campus, the OARDC, and hit the buildings right in the center of OARDC. Because ATI, I said, was untouched, and Extension was untouched, and that regional headquarters they take out there. Next slide. You can see that, that's an aerial photo, and right up in here is the administration building. And this is the Ag Engineering building down here. Major damage on the Ag Engineering building. They started this way and took the track right down through the center of campus. The greenhouses, major damage on the greenhouses. Ken, I think there was about 7 greenhouses that were just basically destroyed with research material inside the greenhouse. Now, if you're a faculty member and you've got a grant and this is your life right here, you're a little bit concerned. You're just a little bit concerned. So now we got to figure out how to get those plants out of those greenhouses without it crumbling on top of somebody. That's going to be a big challenge. Okay, next slide. Can you see that little red car? Can you see? I can barely see it. Little red car upside down. That's across the street from the administration building. That car was parked in the administration building. It's turned upside down. Belongs to one of our IT specialists. And there was other cars. There was another van that was out on the street here. Ken didn't get that picture. It was out on the street. It was one of our vans. It was parked over the administration building. It was out in the street, down half a block down the road. All the windows knocked out, banged up, beat up. And then, of course, you can see the destruction of the greenhouses there. Okay, next slide. I think there's also another greenhouse slide. Yeah. See that? There's not much salvageable out of that one. Okay. Go to the next one. This is an aerial photo. We're coming across the greenhouses now, and the Ag Engineering building took a major hit. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there was a, it would be the south part, right, Kim? The south part of the Ag Engineering building was a shop and storage for equipment and so forth. It just is in shambles. And there was a pickup truck that was flattened by the ceiling that fell on it. There was 2 tractors in there, and all kinds of equipment that just twisted and torn and thrown every which direction. The picture does not do it justice. Okay, go to the next one. There's the tractor inside that. It took the hit inside that particular building. Now the building, we were told, interesting enough, when we did, the structural engineer came in and said all the buildings were structurally sound, even though they had damage, were structurally sound except for this one. It has a wall that was bowed, and so we can't enter this one as quickly as we can some of the other ones. This is going to have to be shorter before we can re-enter that building. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, I'm having trouble seeing this. Can't help me out. This is okay, I don't know where it is. Yeah, this is the Rice House. The Rice House is right there. That's one of the original farmhouses that's on the farm originally. And you can see, we're now using it as a police station. And the debris all around it is coming from everywhere. And we took the roof off of that particular Rice House. We already had the tarp over it to cover it up. And also there's a porch on the back of that, kind of a little porch back there. The policemen had 2 scooters in there. They couldn't find them. And they finally found them out here covered up with the debris that's outside of the porch. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, this is, I think that should be the stone house, is that right, Ken? Is that where, can you see that? The stone house is the oldest building on the campus. And it's a stone house, it was a farmhouse made out of stone. It lost a roof, but 135-mile-an-hour wind didn't do any damage at all to the structure of that over 100-year-old building. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And it was surrounded by trees, totally surrounded by trees, and so they're gone. They're just twisted up and gone. Down here you see a barn that was used for storage, and over here is a barn that we're using for storage. And there's a grove of trees out there, nice beautiful trees. They're all twisted up, bent over, and so forth. And then back here is the farm operation, or research operations, where we had a lot of our farm equipment, tractors and so forth back in there. And the back part of that, the equipment was holding that roof up. It'd come off and just flop down on top of them. And all had a lot of damage inside of there. Go to the next, I think I got a couple slides here. Yeah, I think, Ken, that's farm operations. This is farm operations, and I think you can see the equipment, all the debris around it, just twisted up and banged on top of it. Yeah, is there another one? Go to the next slide. Yeah, so look at these grain trailers, turned upside down, bent over. Okay, now we're taking, those of you who are familiar with that campus, are you with me now where we are? We're heading down northeast now. And we went down the hill. We're heading toward the Cypress Arboretum. Cypress Arboretum is trees were first planted in early 1900s. Mr. Cypress was the first state forester, started the Arboretum and planted the first trees there. And you will see the destruction that happened to the Arboretum. Okay? This is the Arboretum. Now this is looking from, okay, you're looking west now, right? You're looking west, so we're backwards from the direction the tornado was going. So back up in here is where we just came from, and the tornado went down through here. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but all those big, nice, beautiful pine trees that was that part of the Arboretum, they're gone. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you get up close to this, you can see the amphitheater. We built an amphitheater down in there a few years ago. Down in the trees, it could be nice and secluded. You could have programs down there. You could have music festivals. You could do a lot of things. It was just beautiful. It was secluded. We did it that way. Now you can see it. You can see it from Highway 83. And you can stand on the overlooking the amphitheater and down over those trees. And I've never stood there at any time of the year and saw Highway 83. Now you can. They just clipped the tops off of those trees. And so it's just, you know, it's just heartbreaking to see that kind of thing happen. Okay, go to the next slide. Here's some of the trees with the tops out of them. You can see some of the damage with those trees in that particular area. Okay, next slide. Now we're getting into some of the small plants within the garden there. And interesting enough, the small plants were not touched near as much as the larger trees. In fact, just outside the stone house was the rose garden. Rose petals were still intact. First responders. When I got there about 2 hours after it hit Thursday night. The first responders from the city, the county, and the state were already there, had this command center set up, and already had the campus blocked down, loaded down, and they were working and doing what they could to protect and safety of the individuals in that place. It was just amazing how quickly they responded. Tremendous response from the first responders to help us get where we're going. We had lots of visitors up here over the last few days showing their support. And here is on, it would have been Friday morning, and we had Congressman Bucieri and State Senator Bob Gibbs. They came Friday morning. Remember, it happened Thursday night. They were there Friday morning. And we did a press conference to let people know what happened and some of the damages that took place at that time. Tremendous turnout of the press to get some first-hand views of this. I just really appreciate folks like this that showed up to say, we care, and we want to work with you. Okay, next slide. President Gee and Jack Fisher came up Friday afternoon. Had a board trustee meeting that morning. They'd probably been up that morning. They had a board trustee meeting that morning, and then they came up Friday afternoon and spent a good deal of time looking at the damage. And you can see, I think Ken Cochran is right here. I think. Is that right? Yeah. Ken Cochran is the curator of the Arboretum. Friday morning, as I was looking through the damage and walking out, I saw Ken out in the Arboretum, just walking around, shaking his head. He just couldn't believe what had happened. Okay, next slide. Here's the governor. The governor came on Saturday afternoon, and it was tremendous to have those folks there, to let the people there at Wooster know that we care. We care. Yeah, I think that's the mayor, right? I can't see it, but Mayor Bob Brenneman. He was out there 2 or 3 times, and right over here is Ann, County Commissioner Ann Obrecht, and Ann's sitting back here. Ann, thank you for coming and being a part of this. Okay, go to the next slide. This is Joe Cochran. Joe Cochran is the operations manager of the Arboretum. That picture right there shows the emotions and the sympathy of the event. Right there, with the governor and Joe. Here's a group of folks. President Gee, Jack Fisher, Steve Slack is right back there, director of the center. And all of us are there. I think there's some other specialists there. We're looking around, and they were already talking about what we're going to do, what we're going to do about the future. And Joe's comment was, you know, we talked about the 100-year-old trees and how bad it was to lose those. Joe says, we're going to put them back. 100 years from now, they'll be talking about the trees we planted here to rebuild this Arboretum. Tremendous. Okay, that was the last slide. But little report where we are. HTI was not hurt. They were of course without power. They're supposed to have move-in on Sunday. They delayed it until today. They had move-in today. But power came on about 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. It was, boy, it was a celebration. We got power. And but OARDC is going to be a little while going back in. We had to go through and make sure they were all structurally sound. When the power came on, we had to go through and make sure the buildings were all safe to go into. There was no live wires anywhere. That was safe. And so yesterday morning, Steve Slack and his leadership team met with the associate chairs and administrators there and talked about a plan as to how to gradually start opening up the OARDC campus. I think they're surveying buildings today. I think they're letting departments go back in to look at their buildings today to see the damage and what do they need to get restored again, back again. And Steve told me he thought maybe they might be able to get the campus opened up by Friday, but not real sure about that. But it may be Monday before we can get it. But just think about that. Even in a week, with this kind of destruction, we're able to get the campus opened up again. Boulder Construction, they were there working on our level 3 facility. They quit what they were doing and started helping us. Clean up the mess. I mean, it was a mess. And within 24 hours, they had the roads and the streets open on the campus, and had this great big chopper, putting all those trees in that chopper and just chopping them up, and they'll be going into mulch. And so, tremendous support from everyone. We've gotten emails from all over the country, and how the people there, the OARDC folks, the faculty and staff, they're not, yeah, it was a shock to have it happen. They said, let's go, let's get it going. We're ready to get started. We'll rebuild that place, and we'll be better than we were before.